of the week. It is One Loft Wednesdays, and me, myself, and John Timmerman uh, are going to be on. So sit back, relax for this next hour or so. Get your questions, get your comments in, and play the game with us because we love talking pigeons, one loft racing, pigeon racing, and anything to do with pigeons. So it's okay. Come on. It's One Loft Wednesdays. Enjoy, guys. Here we go. Good evening, Mr. John Timmerman, the one and only. I got to come up with a different intro to you, but I mean, through the years, John, you've done so much. You played this game so long. You know how the ball bounces. Uh, for people wondering, this is the one and only. This is John Timmerman. He runs the California Classic. He runs the Royal Cup, and he does a fantastic job with your pigeons. And he's done it for years and years and years. John, welcome again. Wednesday night,
Hello,
one
Ryan.
off racing. What's up with you, my friend?
Just a busy week, man. It just, we got a few more months to go, and this is when a lot of the other earlier races are getting full, and so now the second group of babies start coming out to the West Coast.
Yeah, and the baby's coming out. How do you find so far? What will we be in now? We're in about a month. Will we say
Yeah,
we're in this about
4 weeks. Yeah.
a month now? What do you see the progression? You see the birds coming in at a faster pace than normal years, a slower pace? Because I mean, man, I look on Wind Companion and I don't even know where to go to race pigeons. There's so many races. How do you feel the
Oh,
pace is going?
People have always asked me in the past when to send birds, and I always tell them, first, second week of April. That's when I pretty much like them. So that's when, that's the trend. I always say I don't like to be I don't prefer the earlier ones, and I don't prefer the late ones. Somewhere in the middle, and that usually tends to be, this is when we start getting busy.
Yeah, so people normally follow. Do you find people in pigeon racing are very, very superstitious? Do you find like, you know, guys that always maybe they've sent the first year to you or the second year to you, they send you birds right at the end and they've won money and they always come back towards the end? Or do you find guys are not so superstitious?
Um, I think everybody's always trying to improve, so they'll try. Everybody looks at a different angle and what they can do, and then they hope that their breeding turned out well. I know the guys, back east, they were dealing with that cold, so that set a few guys back. Uh, but there are there are those that stick to their program, and they like to be towards the later part of the month. Um, it's just a question of preference, and really it just comes down to what kind of weather do we have at the moment. And the last few weeks, or I should say this week, has been ideal. It's the temperatures cooled down, and it's kind of this is what we look forward to with the shipping process, receiving the birds. It's not too hot, and the settling hasn't been too windy, so it's just been ideal conditions right now.
Okay. And we're going to get into a little bit of what you do. We've got a video for you guys to sit back and watch. I do want to tell people this show works best if you participate. If you have questions, you have comments, post them in there. If you have concerns, if you're confused, if you don't understand something about the California Classic or the Royal Cup or the San Diego Triple Crown, even, John will help you out and give you the information that you need. So ask the questions. And if it's regarding one loft racing or pigeon racing, ask. John is a real expert. He knows his way around a pigeon loft. He's lost a lot of races, won a lot of races, and he's played with guide pigeons from all over the country, including Canada, and got them into winning some great prize money. So he's a real good handler. But we have a comment here. Michael Peebler says hello. Randy says hello. Nice sweater, John. Someone's giving you. Oh, that's
Nice.
the. It's a blue one. I don't have a blue one, John. Shit, you have something that I don't even have. Anyways, you look good in blue, John. You look good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Milton from Hawaii says, "Aloha, good evening, Ryan and John." Milton,
Hello, Milton.
are you sending birds down to San Diego? You got it. With the birds that you have, you got to play here. Another comment, Michael Peebler says, "Hello, John." My question is, before we get into the intake stuff, for people sending pigeons, do you think with the post, is there a special time? Is it better to send them on a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning or a Monday afternoon or a Tuesday afternoon or a Wednesday? Do you find the post does better on certain days of the week?
For us in San Diego, Monday or Tuesday, it's always your safe bet. But we've had some breeders recently take birds to their hub, and we've been getting them the next day, which it's been super. I
Okay,
mean,
so hold
I
on.
have not, knock on wood, I haven't experienced what the rest of the country is experiencing. I mean, we've been 1, 2 days, and a lot of it, guys coming from back east, Florida to New York, it's been next day. So
So
it's been awesome.
so when people are watching this, and you guys just heard what John said, some guys take them to the hub. Um, what does that mean? Take them to the hub.
Just to their post office distribution center. I know, like people in Texas being so spread out, if they take them to their post office, sometimes the birds don't get shipped out till that night or the next morning. So to save a day, they'll take them directly to the distribution center, and birds get on a plane and go.
And I call that, John, I call that being proactive for your team. I say every little step from the time that you select your pairs and you medicate them or you put them on a certain diet or you pair them up a certain way, you put the lights on, you do whatever, down to when you wean them, how long you leave them in the loft, are they flying up to the perch, are they not? All the little things, and then taking them to the hub or taking them to your local post office that's a mile down the road or driving maybe 50 miles to your hub. These are all small little things, and I call them stones unturned that make the difference in the end at that final race. Do you believe in that?
Of course, it's always best to have the pigeons to be, less stress. Um, Jesse Saguna yesterday brought me 56 pigeons from Canada yesterday, and we discussed, what's the best approach. And he was being responsible. He put them all actually on shipped them through Delta, and the birds were shipped out that morning, and I picked them up yesterday in the evening, and it was ideal.
And John, I will say this. I know from 2011, I sent birds. I only sent my own birds. I sent the 12 bird widowhood basket, and I sent them Delta. And I can't remember if it was Ron or you who picked them up. One of the two did it. But you know what? It cost me, I think it was around 150 or $200 at the time. And my birds were shipped 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, and you guys had them in the evening. And the way I looked at it was the money that I'm spending to enter. the activation fees and all this. I want to give my pigeons the best start. And I'm so happy that Jesse Saguna is, thinking proactive, thinking ahead. I know when he rode with me, and I took him down to the Hoosier and introduced him to Jim, and I showed him the ways of the road of the importing. And I'm glad that no, no. I'm really glad that he's doing it the right way, because I'll tell you, man, those pigeons, when they get stuck on the road 3, 4, 5, 6 days, they go backwards. They go backwards. And people, I'm going to say this, John. I've traveled business class, first class, and then regular class. I'll tell you, put your pigeons on first class if you can do it. It's not a lot more money. Your pigeons get there, and you know what? They're in way better shape. They stress less, and they're not backwards, they're moving forwards. So great job, guys. Great job to Jesse Saguna. If you guys are in Canada, contact him. He's going to take the birds across. Doesn't matter which races, give him a call, and he'll get the job done for you. John,
Yeah,
I'm
Jess is good. Um,
good.
on another note, Ken Christopher shipped out of Salt Lake last week,
Okay.
and he was fearful for the delays he's been having shipping all over the United States, because he was running into a problem, 4 days, 5 days in the box. So first time I suggested, the airlines, and so he did. He shipped him out, I believe, at 9 in the morning. I got him at 12:30 in the afternoon, 3.5 hours, and he was able to ship 23 to 25 pigeons for $160.
Yeah.
He was blown away. I was blown away. It was a great experience. So I would, I know, coming out of Hawaii, Alaska, um, and then for those that are in the States, Delta seems to be pretty reasonable. And if you make your own crate like Jesse did, I mean, uh, he made this box that saved on instead of buying the aluminum widowhood baskets, he made something himself and was able to actually, he shipped me, I don't know what the cost was on his end, but he shipped me 56 pigeons today.
Y-
So,
Yeah. Delta was around 150 to 225, and that's for a crate. They do a measurement on it. I will say to people that maybe can't get to an airline, the widowhood crates, okay? You can buy them new, you can buy them used. One great thing about them is the post takes them. The other great thing is you can take the dividers out. The other great thing is uh, it's totally ventilated. The other great thing is there's feeders and drinkers. Now, I know people say, well, if I put water in, the water spills out. Here's the trick: soak the feed. Soak the feed. If you soak the feed and you put an ice in the feed cups, you make an ice block. That's the best way around it. And then guys can ship. So if the birds do get held up, they've got food with them. And if you soak that feed, they don't need to drink because the food has the moisture in it. So people, there's lots of ways to do it. Just look out for your pigeons. Try and give them comfort. Give them some room, and don't overcrowd them.
no, we've always been fearful for the whole shipping, which rightfully so. But I'm starting to believe in the airlines. I mean, myself, if I got to ship to Florida or if I got to ship to New York for these international races, I mean, and that's of course if I go in with a big team of birds, airlines would be the way to go, for sure.
Yeah, and people don't think and to look at it, but I mean, Delta does it. I know Alaskan Air does it. You just have to do a bit of research. And then again, please make sure if you are going to send by air to contact the loft manager and let them know, right? Say, hey, is it okay if I
Yeah,
send them?
right.
They don't deliver them to you, but no. I think people sometimes have to think outside the box. I know I did some videos prior years ago, and I would take the felt out of the cardboard boxes, or I made more holes, and I changed the bedding from shavings to straw or shredded paper, and people were like, "Oh, well, you're abusing the postal requirements. The way I look at it is, I want to get those birds there, not overheating, uh, comfortable. And I'll do what it takes. And if the post says you can't take them, I just took them to another post office in the U.S. I mean, I pushed the limit. You get what I'm saying? But I'm
Mhm.
looking at birds are the most important. You know what I mean? And those boxes, I find when pigeons are in them and they're used multiple times, you ever notice the filters are completely clogged in them?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's just it, right? Sometimes we just have to examine our box before we ship, because a lot of times we a lot of us will use recycled boxes, and yeah, you just have to be a little bit more proactive with what, looking over, examining your shipping compartment.
Yeah, and not overload, eh? In a two-bird box, don't put 4 or 5 pigeons. It's just you just don't do it. You're cooking the pigeons. We have
Well,
Jeff Henderson here from Australia. He says we are interested in competing in the Triple Crown in 2027. 2027. How many birds would he recommend putting in? Now, just to give you a little FYI on Jeff Henderson, he is a guy that's been on my Pigeon Boss tour 2 times. He's from Australia, so they can't actually send pigeons from Australia. Probably going to do something through me. I'm going to help him either with birds that he's bought, breed to send to you guys. What do you think, John, is a good number for the Royal Cup, the California Classic, and the San Diego Triple Crown if you're coming down for the week? What do you recommend?
well, I mean, you put in a team, 5 to 6 pigeons in each race. I mean, that was always what people don't understand. 5, 6 pigeons, that's what it was 25 years ago, hoping that you would have 2 or 3 left. Um, so that's why you're playing it safe with the team, just a 5, 6 bird team. That's always been the norm. 5, 6 birds, and you hope to have 2 or 3 left.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You don't have to go I mean, hey, if you want to put more in, no problem. But I found normally sending a team to each, you have more than enough bullets in the gun. And I say it has to do with the handlers and you guys putting in the work and the time. John does a great job. Ahmad, great job, and Steve Miner and Ron did a really good job. So I know there's still the 3 races, and Jeff Henderson from Australia. I recommend, hey, put a team in, and if you're coming down with a few guys, you may want to put a few extra birds in. And you know what? Uh, that way, for the festivities, you got birds. But if you send a team in each, I know you'll have pigeons there. You'll have pigeons for the end. I've
Yeah.
never been skunked in any of the races, and I've sent sometimes only 2 birds, and I haven't been skunked. So, uh, John, Ahmad, Steve, you guys do a real number one job. And, you know, do do you look at it differently if a guy only sends you 1 bird? Or do you
No.
look at it differently if a guy sends you 20 birds?
No, I mean, it's gotten to where, I mean, we go back 15, 10 years ago. I mean, there was a cap, 5, 10 pigeons. That's all it took per breeder. But things have changed, and the sport is evolving now to where people want to, knowing the course, they want to test their birds. So there are a few breeders that send them. They send what they can send. Um, and that's kind of where we're going now, just because everything's changed as far as racing. It's just become more difficult, more challenging, but people are becoming aware that uh, good pigeons come off the course. So that's where things are now. It's big prizes and it's a good time, but it's also looking forward to see what pigeons they get back.
Agreed. Now, here, John, today, you didn't lie. Look at all the Christmas gifts you got. How many birds were you working through today, John?
Well, I started last night. I had to pick up those birds from Canada, and anyways, I started taking them out of the box around 2 or 3 this morning, and so I started early. And this right here, the postman was 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I was busy with that for a couple hours.
And guys, you see, this is just what John's doing. Look at the boxes, having to go through each pigeon. Now, when you're on here and you're looking, it looks like you're looking at a list. You're checking everything. Your birds are going into a basket. So you're verifying first everything's correct in the box.
Yeah, just verifying the numbers that they gave, that the
All right.
numbers and the numbers and the colors corresponds with what they gave me.
And what do you do with the boxes? Do you save them all?
I just put them to the side, and eventually, there's a lot of guys in the club that are shipping pigeons out, and they'll come by and grab a few here and there, and then eventually, we flatten them all.
Yeah. And when you send back at the end of the season, do you use new boxes or used boxes or
It just
both?
depends. I mean, some of these boxes are brand new, and if they're good, we save them. Of course, if anything's bad, or the post office has become very picky. So these guys that are, making extremely large vents in the screen, we can't use those anymore.
Okay. All right. And do you think maybe this is a silly question. Do you think there's better materials than other materials to use in the boxes? Do you find?
Um, you know, some guys like the newspapers, some guys like the shavings, other guys pine needles. I prefer, I like straw. Um, it's just everybody's got a different preference. But for me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I get it. The ones that use if it's fresh paper, it's less dust,
Mhm.
and that's those are all.
We we always found we tried it multiple times, but we would put shavings. Sometimes I put shavings in a basket, or I put shavings in a box, or I put shavings in a loft. And I found on the wood shavings, the new wood shavings, I found the pigeons always got respiratory very, very quickly. And talking through guys through the years and through Europe, they said that pigeons have an allergy to wood shavings. And I know one thing in these boxes, the pigeons naturally, I mean, if you put 5 pigeons in your car overnight, shut the doors, shut the windows, 5 pigeons are going to have more than enough air. If it's nice and cool, whatever. But in the morning, you look at the dust on your dash, you look at it,
Oh
the bloom
yeah.
from those pigeons. And I think that these filters and that, I think that the wood shavings is not the best to use. Have you ever heard anything like this?
No, but I've noticed it. I try to stay away from because it's too dusty.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
the birds. I mean, you got a dander already. That's why I mean, I always wear that jacket when I'm, for one, it was a little chilly this morning, but I don't want to get that dander all over me. And I've been doing it so long that, yeah, eventually you do you do develop some respiratory conditions yourself. I mean, that's just if you have pigeons, your lungs aren't going to be great. It's just how it is.
Yeah, hey John, you think how many pigeon cigarettes we've smoked, eh? And
Oh, dude.
that dust just coats. It's like glue. Um, but yeah, and also I thought another problem. You know how they always talk about when you build a pigeon loft to not use new wood,
Yeah.
and I think the
Obviously,
same
I mean,
with the shavings.
yeah, there's been some. In the beginning, there was some. I mean, we're talking 20 years ago. Guys promoting their loft, and then they went in and used that compressed plywood that they use for roofing, and big mistake. Big mistake. Because when it gets hot,
You're talking about the chip board, the chip particle board.
yes.
Yeah. I was watching the other day. There was a one loft race. I don't know if it was in California. I don't know. The guy was in there and he's pressure washing the loft, and the loft's all particle board, wire floors, whatever. And I look at it and I say, when I look at it, I get turned off. Build the loft with proper wood. And I don't know if I need to see heavy duty pressure washing. I just don't know if lofts need to be washed like that. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's ever good to soak a pigeon loft down. What do you think?
No, I mean, some guys really disinfect and all that. No, I don't go that route. If I never had a problem now, If I had a problem, of course, you'd have to burn and do a lot of things. But if there's no issues, no, let it be. Pigeons have to build their own immunity in the loft. It's the same thing. The key is for the loft to be dry. That's the key. No dampness, no moisture, no bacteria growth. That's what you're staying away from.
Yeah, and Michael Piva says the wood that we are talking about is OSB. Yes, 100%.
Yes,
Don't
OSB. That's correct.
try, definitely don't use it. Uh, it's just it's you're going to save a bit of money, but it's going to cost you. You're going to pay for it in the end. I remember John, in about 2013 or 14, I was at the Texas shootout run by CL Gage and Patty Gage. And I remember CL saying to me, and I don't know if you ever heard it, that he knew a guy, or he had a guy, or it was himself. They ran, railway ties, the creosote railway ties
Yes.
in the pigeon loft. Did you ever hear that?
No, but I know CL's tried a lot of, he's had all kinds of stories.
Okay.
They had, I believe it was the Curacao. There was something they had out of Chicago that they used to use also for, they'd swab the mouth of the bird, the babies, to prevent any kind of sickness.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was saying something about this, and he said that the creosote railway ties helped the respiratory, but he said when you went in the loft yourself, it was brutal on you. Is it? I don't know. I heard it, and I kind of thought, oh, you hear things. So I just didn't know if you had ever heard that story from CL, because I know you know him quite well.
There's a lot.
But
There was a lot of stories that he shared, and they were all fantastic.
yeah, yeah. Now I see you're here now, and these birds, because when for guys wondering, if you haven't watched John's intake video, this is where, so you've taken the birds out of the box, you've made sure everything's marked down correctly. Now you're putting them into their individual, where they're gonna spend the next 7 to 10 days. Oh, look at how fast you are, John. You
Yeah.
got that one. You're putting them in here. People say, well, why haven't you vaccinated them? Why don't you vaccinate them yet? Or did you vaccinate them?
No, no. I usually give them 24 hours, 48 hours. If these birds were in the box a day or two, I let them hydrate, and then I inoculate them, and then I watch them. The process right now, they're 5 days, 6 days, 5, 6 days, and they're in the loft. So it's because it's, how would I say it? It's just part of the protocol. We go, every week, it starts all over again. We're going over, cleaning, new feed, and boom, cleaning, and that's what we keep doing.
Yeah, so just keeping on it, but again, not stressing the bird out. Do you think? I mean, hey, do you think it makes a difference if you vaccinate them as soon as you open the box?
No, it just depends. Some birds, if they're knocked down, I'm not going to take a chance to knock them down more. There are pigeons that, you know, some guys are vaccinated. They're not supposed to, but some guys will be 2, 3 days before they ship them, or the day of. They'll ship them and they're vaccinated and don't say nothing. And you'll see it. The pigeons, a lot of times they won't bounce back. And that's just part of the process. That's the whole reason why I do this. I see right off the bat who's good, who's not good, and 95% of them are. But there's always a few that not feeling good, and if they come in with a little bit of respiratory, or the stool's not right, we watch them.
Something else I notice. I always look at birds' feet when they come in, and the bands. Sometimes you'd open a box, and even though the box feet were just covered, and people don't realize, even with young birds in the nest and that. Take a look. You think, John?
Oh, absolutely. Even when you're racing, but you got to remember, for 3, 4 days, which So that changes everything. But you're right, guy hydrated them, the birds are fine. This is all I'm doing is just ensuring that the birds all had an opportunity to hydrate before we go into the mating.
Yeah, and you see birds eating, you see birds you've made it very successful for them. They come out, they're into a small section, a 2 by 2 little room. They see birds around them, and it's very easy to find the food, find the water, eat, drink, relax. There's no big stress. I know, for instance, if we put those pigeons directly from their box into the big sections that you have, it's just like it's like when you were a little kid and your mom took you to school for the first time. Man, that's a scary school, isn't it? It's so big, And I think pigeons really stress out over that. And I think by taking the time, and I see more and more one-off races are going this route with the little quarantine or settling. I think it helps put the birds on the right track. Agreed, John?
Oh, 100%. We've been doing this since day one. I've been doing it since day one, 20 some years. But, you know, my success for not having a lot, well, I've never had an outbreak, knock on wood. Let me take that back. I did a few years ago with the road, gave them the road a shot, and we had a few pigeons go downhill. But, that could come later where all of a sudden it just, the rotavirus is a whole different animal now.
Yeah. Jeff Henderson says, great to see the process for entry of the birds. Fantastic. People should look at their own loft. Um, even say with your own loft when you're weaning your pigeons, hey, I like to take them from the parents. I like to put them in a basket. I like to teach them how to eat and drink in a basket. I like to move the basket around. I like to take the basket in a car ride, and I like to teach them all that. I like personally to leave the pigeons in the basket 7 to 10 days, eating and drinking and moving and learning, and you see what pigeons handle it, and then move them into the loft. A little bit of education, and I call it early basket training. And I wonder, John, let me ask you: when you send pigeons to a one loft race, your young birds, do you teach them to drink out of a shipping basket?
No, I mean, right now, I move pigeons over, I wean them, and there's, the drinking process is, it's easy for them to find. Um, but I just let them go to town, and if those that can't figure it out, well, those aren't the ones that I ship, because if they can't figure it out when it's easy, they're not that smart. I
Yeah.
mean, even in this process, this whole process here is done because you got a few hundred breeders and everybody's got a different setup. And some guys, of course, the more we do these type of things, more, the sport's evolving. It's getting better. 20 years ago, this was never done. Nobody knew what was going on, especially in OLR. These young guys now watch and they make it seem like they figured it all out. Well, yeah, if you watch this process, I mean, it's even this type of stuff has gone overseas where people are understanding it now. But before, no, people did not understand it. And even guys that work for me, and I'm talking that are with me that are not really 100% pro pigeon, they're learning. And the simple questions, which is so obvious to us as pigeon guys, to them they're like, "Is this how I do it?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." But once they understand, I mean, it's not rocket science, but when you're introduced to something that is not the everyday norm, it's, people don't get it. And this is the whole process of pigeon racing. Like I shared back in the beginning, from this process to the training process, nobody knows it until you actually do it. And then of course people see it and then they, now all of a sudden they're all Einsteins.
And another thing, guys, I say when I do loft tours, videos, sit down interviews, watch it multiple times. If you guys go back into this video here where we're watching John move the birds around, he's in this section with all the birds, okay, in the cages, and he's putting birds in. And I'm telling you right off the hop, I watch in his face, he looks over at a cage for a moment. He looks, and he looks to double check himself to say, is that one okay? You can see. I see you do it. And what's so great is you've got those birds in those nice cages on wire. They got drinker, feeder right there in front of their face. They look to the left, the other guys have it. They look to the right, the other guys have it. But you yourself can walk through and look at 120 or 200 birds, boom, 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 right up close. You can see it. You can walk through any time of the day and you see the birds that have just come in, how they're feeling at a day, 2 days, or at a week. You're right. I call it real hands on and close. And I think that's one of the number one things. The start is if you don't have a good start, you're not going to have a good finish. Correct?
Well, that's with anything. The building process as well. If you don't have a good foundation, it's going to collapse. Same thing here. I mean, the pigeons are, they go in this process not just for the feeding and drinking, but it's also for me to observe, or for my team to observe, to make sure the droppings are right. And that will tell you a lot. If they're not right, why am I moving them? And if it's 5 6 days and they're not improving, well, then those pigeons are taken out of that section and they're put somewhere isolated again. So we watch them, and it happens. And just like I mentioned before, it's nobody's fault. Sometimes these pigeons in the in these boxes, they pick up a bug or the stress, and it comes out. So it's, all we're doing is making sure that we're really trying to bring something into the loft. And
Yeah.
this process is, like I said, it's going fast. It's, we get them now. In 2 days they're vaccinated. A couple more days we go through them again. Then they're brought to the loft and chipped, and then they're put into another section, and we're watching them. And then they go into the community, and then we start with the trap training and that whole process.
But again, it's those first few days. It's that taking that time. I know you have a loft that holds 2,500 to 3,000 pigeons. You got all the sections in the world. Just dump them in. Just dump them in. Just dump them in. If you do that, you won't be there in the end because it'll all crash and burn because you don't take the time. Manual Farm says, John, this is a good question. Do you notice any standout pigeons when they're going through the training processes, and what do you look for? That's a good
You
question.
know, when it comes to the whole intake of pigeons, I don't take an opinion. It's a nice pigeons from somebody, but that's it. It's this is a OLR, and you're in competition. These guys that do these videos and stuff, I get it. I know it's all entertaining, but anybody that has anything to do with the race, you're not supposed to know any of the birds. You're not supposed to be any favorites. I'm not there to critique any pigeons. I'm just there
Mhm.
to make sure they're healthy and train them and may the best pigeon win. And if any birds are not right, boom, the breeder is notified and we go on. That's yeah, you could take a pigeon out of the box and say this is fantastic. Now on the flip side, I've experienced a pigeon and I'm like, this is years ago. You brought up Pigeon had a pigeon, and I thought, what the hell is this? Pigeon survived. Pigeon did fairly well. So, you know, these birds now, 7 months from now, they'll be totally different pigeons.
Okay, but I'm saying, and I think his question was going through the training, like, okay, hey, you open up a box, and all of a sudden, well, we're just gonna pick a grizzle. Just say, Mo, that's a nice grizzle. Okay, boom, you do your thing. You let them out. Okay, loft fly. Okay, great. Oh, every once in a while, you notice them. Okay, well, you start training. Geez, man, boy, he's up front. Do you do you find yourself doing that sometimes? I mean, hey, I know when I'll tell you, we had our trifecta race. Gene Tambreck, he sent me a couple pigeons. He did very well in our race. And I didn't know, I knew Gene just from San Diego. I didn't. but his pigeons always seem to stand out. They never look like they were molting. They were always up in the top in the training. They were always there, and you kind of just sort of you notice them, you recognize them. You do notice that? Like, do you see that even with all the pigeons that you have?
Well, I mean, I was also, I mean, you'll see pigeons that stay out that like to stay out fly, and there'll be a certain group that likes to stay out and fly longer. Um, and of course, you're impressed. I've had when I really get the birds going and they're flying good. I mean, and it turns out to be one of those cloudy days in the valley. It's horrible for me because these pigeons will fly for hours, and I mean hours. And you're impressed because it's like, this is, they're just racing in the sky. But those pigeons, so many of them really never really turn out to win the race. It's impressive. So those theories where you hear people, my birds are flying 2.5 hours, 3 hours prior to the race. No, it has no bearing on what's going to happen on race day or how good the pigeons are. That's nice. They're flying great, but that has no bearing to say, oh, they're fit, they're ready to go. No.
Okay. We got a couple comments, so let's throw them up here. Seven Hills Law says, "Good evening, everyone. Someday it would be amazing if Ryan could organize a FIPA syndicate for the California Classic. I'd love a chance to fly in it." Yeah, it's something that again, guys, I've just come on board here with John. I've known John for, oh, geez, since 2011. Uh, we're starting to do some stuff together. Is that something that could happen in the future? 100%. Again, we're going to, I always say, crawl, walk, run, sprint. And that's what we're doing here. We're building this up. But if you guys like a syndicate, you want something like that, post that in. The more times you hear it, then you start to think, hey, we should do something like that. I have no problem putting a syndicate together. I have to figure out what would a syndicate look like. Do we want to use European birds? Do we want to use you guys or your birds? What do we want to use and how do we want to do it? But Seven Hills Lost, thanks for participating. Seven Hills, if you have pigeons, you can send one to John. You can send one to the Royal Cup. You can send one to the California Classic. Uh, John, if someone wants to send you one pigeon, what does it cost to send one pigeon?
For each race is $200.
And that's the perch fee.
The perch fees, and that's only it's higher. A team of five, it's 160 a bird. For the Royal, 6 birds for 1,000, of which 100 goes into the prize fund. So you're paying $90 a perch fee in the Royal Cup. You can't beat it especially for the prizes that we've had in the past. But I mean, I appreciate the question. I've always said this race isn't just for me; it's for everybody that likes to come to San Diego and be part of the sport. That's kind of where this is going. And I do it, with Ryan to expand the sport a little bit more on the West Coast. And that's all this is. This isn't a promo about John Timmerman, and yeah, I'm sharing what I do. I'm trying to, give you guys knowledge. I mean, time goes by so fast, and I've always said it before. I mean, a lot of young guys that are around me, that they pick up things, and I'm more than willing to help them and share the details. But it's the participation. That's what's gonna change everything.
I want to, we've got some more questions I'm going to post in. Guys, I want you to take a look at the video on the left, the man moving the basket. And I want you to take a look at the man on the right wearing the blue sweater. It's the same man. He's the loft manager. He is playing the band. He's the orchestra. He has help, but he's there day in, day out, working with your pigeons. He knows the way around. And this to me, I see lots of guys, they're fronts. They're fronts of races. They got a whole bunch of workers, but they're the front. Guys, this is hands-on pigeon man. And this is why this race, since early 2000s, has been a sellout, has been successful, money in, money out, birds in, birds out. and guys have gotten results. But this is what you're seeing. This is small details. It's not fancy, but take a look. Going to work, working for the perch fee. And guys, I'll tell you, it's very, very important. Brian says, hey guys and gentlemen, you have what do we have here? I got to change the screen. You have a helping you that I met, a great guy. You have a guy helping you. I met. He's a great guy. Really loves the birds. He's a keeper, John. You had a helper in there. And let me back up a bit on the camera. Who was your
That's
helper helping you today?
TJ. TJ comes every day. TJ, by trade, he's had pigeons the last few years, but his trade, he was a fisherman. So for those of you that want to charter boat, TJ's involved with that, or he can organize that. But he's an animal lover. He's got a herd of cows, and he's got sheep, and but fishing was his trade, deep sea fishing. But bringing on to the pigeons, and he's just fascinated. And yeah, that's I've always had great guys help me. And these other guys that you haven't seen that help with the cleaning and help with the other aspects of the property, they've been with me. Saul's been with me since 1996, and it's every weekend he's there. And I have another one, Luis. He comes on Tuesdays. He's been with me for about 16 years now, and never missed a beat, rain or shine. None of these guys, they don't complain, and I've been fortunate, very blessed. And then
And
one person that I haven't mentioned that's he's doing very well as far as outside of pigeons, more or less in the real world, is Alan. And Alan has been for the last, I guess, 2000. Well, let me put this back. He's in his late 30s now. He's been with me since he was 21, 22. So he's been with me for a while. But Alan is more with admin.
yeah, the post, and I take it Alan does putting the birds into the computer.
No, I do all that too.
Jeez.
Um, no, I do all
Okay.
that too. Alan is more. He's just social media or helping doing getting the new flyers, and so much of this stuff is going AI, and we try not to go that direction. We just use it if we need to use it, and Alan's, he's got that stuff all figured out.
Yeah, and guys, you take a look there in the background. You see the help. You see going through it. You see teamwork here, guys. Teamwork. It's a big job, and if you're half-assed, it does not work. Jeff Henderson says the knowledge that you both bring to the pigeon sport is amazing. It's a school for all levels of people. Jeff, I will say something. If you come on the tour in 2007, you're going to make sure you're going to come to San Diego, whatever group comes from Australia. You are going to get, trust me, we are going to make sure before the races you get some time with John, because not when it's all going and it's hectic, but before that, because you're going to really like to talk to him, full of knowledge, full of thoughts, and like I say, he's seen so many pigeons that it's in his finger. He's got real pigeon fingers, and you guys will, Hey, again, I still thought what Ron Steinbrenner said. For every 100 pigeons that you take care of, you gain a year. And if you just think about this, John, it's kind of a sales pitch, but most guys every year they breed 50 to 100 youngsters, right?
Oh yeah,
And if you think about it in that way,
yeah,
man,
absolutely.
how many years, John, do you have? I mean, shit, you're 60 years old.
No, not yet, but I'm getting there, bud. Yeah, I'm getting there, but not yet.
No,
But
okay.
it's funny you should say that, because even as a kid, helping my father was always a big loft with a lot of pigeons, and that's really where I learned. Because back in those days, you just had a product called Teramycin, and you had Aromycin, old
Yeah.
school. You didn't have the Baytril. You didn't have all these Belgian products like you do today.
Hmm.
Um, that just wasn't available. So you ran into things and you saw things with the pigeons, and that's how you learned. That's how I learned. And to be honest, that's where if you're doing a one loft race, you're supposed to know all these things before getting into it. You're supposed to know what you're looking out for. That's why these people are supposed to. That's why they're coming to you. But we're in a different world now where people watch a YouTube video and now they believe they know the answers. And at pigeon racing, you look at the GHC with all those old, so many skilled pigeon fanciers, and they don't have all the answers, and yet they're doing it 3 days a week racing. And this is a sport that just takes time, and yeah, it's just through interaction that you're going to gain really the real effect, and that's what makes it great.
Okay. Yeah, it's 100% true. And here's a question that I'm sure a lot of people are want to ask. And again, on these shows here, I know people step back and they don't want to ask a question because maybe I'll say your name or whatever. But I'm going to ask a question. Hey, John, uh, how, how many weeks of straight Datril do you pump these birds with?
They haven't been on Baytril yet. Baytril is to be used only when necessary, or only when you're going to set up before prior to training for a few days or a week. But it is not something that this is that's something that's a go-to product, not an everyday product. Put it that way.
So what you're saying is by you're starting here and what you're doing with the cages, starting the birds off, let's just see what we have. Let's see what we get out of the box. Let's take a look. Then you start to analyze. You're not putting on all the birds on a respiratory, all the birds on a canker. You start very small and look at what you have to work with, correct?
Absolutely. The pigeons already at this age have an immunity. If they already have a problem, then there's a problem with the bird. And then it's just better just to replace. Everything is basically best as a natural environment, and just keeping them good food, proper loft environment, you should be good to go.
Okay.
Now, as the pigeons get older, and we only use antibiotics when necessary, and prior to getting them into training or racing, setting them up. But even then, it's very limited.
Right. I mean, for people wondering, we don't take cold medicine if we don't have a cold. Or I
No,
wouldn't,
and
anyways.
I mean, one day of using something in the bath water as a disinfectant and all that can help already. I mean, there's different things that people use, and people have to really pay attention to what environment they're in. It's like, again, going to Florida or going to Texas where the humidity could be bad in June, July. Well, they're going to be using products that I'm not going to use yet because my temperature is still cool. So there's no reason to put the birds on oxine or put the birds on any kind of disinfectant. Nothing that's gonna, it's not necessary. Other parts of the country where you're dealing with the extreme heat, or you got where things in the water like where bacteria could grow fast. That's different then.
Mhm.
Then you're going to use more those type of products.
Okay, I just wanted to throw this out. We got two questions here. Jeff Henderson's always thinking outside the box from Australia. Love the idea of being able to get a fishing charter planned for the trip.
It can be done. If there's
see,
enough
see,
guys, if there's enough guys that are willing to do it, it can be done. Especially if
eh,
it's during the week or it's done ahead of time. That's not a problem.
there we go. Leonard Washington says, "Now this is a thinker, John. This is a thinker. I have my answer because I've read it and I've thought about it." And he says, "What do you think about the Hoosier? The way of having unbanded old birds mixed with the racers. They say it helps to settle the young birds better."
I don't know. Everybody's got a different process. I haven't really been following Jim. I'm sure, through their experiences, they're just looking at the best process for them, or what makes sense to make it easier for them. I mean, I don't really have a comment either way, but
I mean,
like I mentioned in one of the past posts, most of these races, like a race of that magnitude, they're not going in to fail. They're going to do the best they can, and that's with all of us, myself included. So you always have to keep that in mind. I mean, this is a small community of pigeon flyers throughout the United States, and hopefully we can progress rather than go backwards and point the finger and get upset and throw people under the bus. I mean, we've been there. I've been there, done that. But again, I think that most of these races, they're all looking at just trying to improve. Especially you look at a lot of these races, the magnitude of these lofts and the finesse, never been done in the past.
yeah, I mean, is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts. It's not hurting anything. There's no difference if there's droppers or if there's bands that they've taken off race birds and they're using to settle. Again, like you said, John, the number one goal of this is to get your pigeons from start to finish. That's the goal. And everyone's trying their own little way, baking their cake. That same You're all baking the same chocolate cake, but you all use a little different ingredient, or you turn the oven up this way, down this way, move this, move that, and I get it. I will say I'm friends with a gentleman in Scotland, Paul McAloney, one hell of a good pigeon man. And we talked about he liked to have his he liked to have a couple young old birds with his young birds for training at the beginning. And I tried it multiple times, young birds with old birds, and I found the old birds would leave those young birds right away. It just never. I tried it multiple times, and I just said, the old birds know if you have well worked well worked pigeons, they're going to leave those young birds right away. So just that was my feel on it. But I get what the Hoosiers doing. I'm not against it.
No,
So
I mean, well said. I mean, that's uh, everybody looks at it, what they feel is going to be the easiest way not to lose birds. Myself, like you mentioned, old birds training with the younger birds. No, they all got to learn. Sooner or later, they got to figure it out and learn it with the training. What you do for settling purposes. If they have pigeons, like if they've got birds that stay out overnight, and yeah, it's always good to have pigeons flying early in the morning, just to have some kind of an attention to the loft.
now we haven't really looked at you starting to break birds, and I'll ask is, have you started to let birds out without the settling aviary or not yet?
Yes, we started, but we've been
Okay.
picking and choosing our days because last week we had some rain, we're dealing with some wind, and they're all doing really well right now. So you know, like I said, in the beginning stages, health is always the most important factor. And this process here, putting some good weight on the pigeons just slows them down a little bit, because I don't want them all feisty and ready to go, because then, right, that's you got pigeons that go straight up into the sky, and then I got to walk away from that because it gets to be too much.
Yeah, yeah, no, and you got them all different ages. So you find for this type of a race, and maybe other guys, breaking the birds, you like to have a little extra weight on them. Um, do you let them out hungry or you let them out full? What do you think?
No,
Is
I,
there a
I, I
preference?
always like to keep them hungry. I mean, I want them to respond when I got to call them in, especially when you're doing 300-400 birds at a shot.
Yeah, and just totally, I take it when you're letting them out those first here at the beginning stages, just sort of ignore them. No spooking, no nothing like that.
You just let pigeons be pigeons, and let the babies go with roam around, let them do what they want to do, and you just hope. Like right now, these predators, these Cooper hawks are sitting on eggs, so there's really nothing really bad. But in another 5 weeks, that's probably going to be a different story. Then the Cooper comes back, and it's that's when it becomes challenging, and that's where the Averys come into really handy, because those birds go every day in and out, and they hit the ground, and they get spooked by a little sparrow, and they know what to do. It's not the first time they go out and get spooked and disappear on you.
Right. Okay. Denny says this, one loft racing is not easy. It's a 24/7 dedication for just $100 perch fee. The race managers care for your birds 8 to 10 months, training, medication, feeding, managing them every day. Most people only see the race day, but not the real work behind it. Shout out to all the OLR managers out there. And guys, what you're seeing here, you're not seeing talking uh, in the video to the left. You're watching what John's doing. You're watching what his team is doing. You're seeing it. This is a perch fee, which you think the $100 he takes the birds, dumps them in the loft, and I'll see you on race day. No, this is a skill. This is an art. This is pigeon fingers, and you're seeing it, and that's why we're showing it. That's why we do these Wednesday shows. If you guys have questions, now is your time. We have a question here. Leonard Washington says, John, when do you put your electronic bands on? Right away when they arrive or later on?
I chip everything as soon as after a week. On the other side of that wall where I'm at right now, I have a computer, and I chip them, and they go into the loft. And that's when we verify. Like I'm right now checking numbers, to the left right there on your screen. But next week I'll check them again,
Okay.
and that way it's bulletproof, and they got a chip, and we're good to go. I haven't started my clocking system yet, because I'm not a big fan of always taking the clock on and off the docking station. When it comes to the electronics, sometimes you just don't, it's better not to always keep unplugging that stuff. So I try to leave it where it's at for at least a few weeks, and then we go.
Okay. So again, when those birds go into that settling right there in those small little houses, cages for each group, you don't ban them then. You wait till they've graduated from that stage and they're going into the big loft.
Correct.
Correct? Right.
Yeah. Once after 5 days, after they're mellowed out, then we chip them and we put them into the loft.
It's a process, guys. Every race does it differently, but you see how John's been doing it, and you've been doing this way since you started. What made you go with the individual pens, those little cages? What made you think of that?
You got full control. You know exactly how the birds are, what they're eating, how much they're drinking, and if there's a problem, I could administer it right then and there. And of course, I'm able to observe the droppings daily, and that tells you a lot right there. You know that you're able to bring something into the loft without a problem.
Okay.
That's the key. That's the whole process. Other lofts, you get into big loft, you get into big numbers real quick. No, you're not looking at pigeons. You're not. It's impossible. It's impossible to look at pigeons right off the bat. It goes too fast. Been there. It's even this process here. All I'm doing is just reassuring that the birds are hydrated, they got good weight, and it's not 100% guarantee that they're going to survive in the loft, because there's always a percentage that it becomes another stress barrier, that once they're in the loft and they got more pigeons, that's where the genetics comes into play, and some they just don't make it.
Yeah, we've got some more questions. Jeff Henderson from Australia says, I think Stephen Collins from Australia would love this tour. Jeff, I think 100% Stephen and Heather, I hope you guys can make it next year for the California Classic Royal Cup week. Uh, we got more comments here. Jeff Henderson says the Aussies will get along very well with everyone on the tour. Aussies are great people, very easy. We did the electronic band question. Leonard Washington, I think he's interested in this race, John. He's got some pretty good questions. He says, how often will you make update posts on Win Companion?
How often do I make a big post?
Or make posts, make your, how often are you on your message board writing those beautiful long letters?
Oh, well,
Dear
we keep it.
breeders.
I mean, as you can tell, I'm kind of straight to the point kind of guy, but we're on there 3 days a week right now on the message board. That's where Alan comes into play, and Alan does. We got stuff going out with the videos. We got stuff going out with our pickups. We got going stuff. There's not a whole lot to tell right now because this is just the beginning stages. But we always have a write up every week.
And here's the other thing, which is so great. These One Loft Wednesdays, guys, John Timmerman, Royal Cup, California Classic. He is on. I mean, if you have a question and you don't see it in the message board or you just want to ask, he's here live. Uh, I call it in front of the firing squad. You know what I mean, John? I'm going to
Oh
shoot at
yeah,
you. I'm
yeah.
going to
No, I'm
shoot. I'm going to
fine.
shoot. I'm going to shoot.
I I was asked to do this probably like 6, 7 years ago already, and I just never did. Um, as things have progressed with social media, so I'm taking this approach, and really it's through Ryan. Ryan approached me, and I'm sure that those of you obviously have been watching FIPA, you enjoy it, and I'm enjoying his company. And it's again, it's just this particular thing is all about just gaining, giving you guys a little bit insight, of course, to me, but to learn something or to share something.
You know, I'm going to say something. I started, I've grown up in pigeons, and I'm being honest. I grew up in pigeons. I'm third generation pigeon flyer here with my family. So I've always been in pigeons. And in the early 2000s, I seen a video with Ron Steinbrenner. And I said, I got to get there. I got to get there. And I didn't know about John. And I met John, I met Steve, I met Ahmad, I met Ron, I met them. And something touched me in these guys. I seen professionalism. I seen something that I never seen before, and guys handling things a certain way. And I know, and I'll say it. I rip on a lot of one off races. Yes, I have, and I've always said the same thing. The best race is the San Diego races, the Triple Crown, the Royal Cup, the California Classic, the Holiday Cup. Those are the best. And I seen it hands on. I seen these guys do it. And I seen exactly what you see on this camera. I got inspired. And I always put them at a high level. And I've been other places where I wasn't that feeling. So guys, not ripping on races. Races are improving. Races are getting great. And I think this is a man that stands in front. We're not recording this. This is live. This is live. Go look at the video, see the flaws in the video. But guess what? Seeing is believing, and this is real. This is real Pigeon Man doing it himself. And I'll tell you something. I go to this race for a lifetime. I hope, hey, John, I hope when you go up to heaven, you get to enter this race.
Well, but like I said before, this is about just, yes, I enjoy it, and of course, this has become a full-time business for me. But it's the prestige. It's like I mentioned before, it's the friendships that you make in something like this that make it special. This is something it's your tradition. Myself, 25 years, San Diego, going on close to 4 decades. The people that started it, most of them are gone, and that's how special it has always been. And it's never, sure, we flew for big dollars, but that's not what it's always been about. And that's there, uh, like I said before, we've had people from all different parts of the country, different parts of the world come visit, and big names, and take this something very simple to what we started. And now, mind you, this wasn't all like this 25 years ago, for myself included. And we built on it, and but the relationships is something that is truly, truly, truly special. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, guys, the power of this show. A good friend of mine, Stephen Collins, has just come on from Australia. He says, all things going well, we will be on the tour. Sounds like fun. So we've got a whole group from Australia that will be participating. John is back on with us. So we've got an Australian group for 2027. Oh boy, you better get the fishing. Better. We've got to take them fishing. I'll take the mini
That,
punting. We've got to
that
take them for margaritas too. They got to have real margaritas, John.
no,
You
that
know?
that's a there's a lot of things to do in San Diego.
Yeah, there is. And I'll tell you, it's a beautiful city. The temperature is the best. And in November, you wear a light jacket. You can wear shorts in the daytime. You're going to sweat, but I'm not joking. It is beautiful. As we wait for John to reconnect, John is back with us. Again, popular guy. We got some more comments. John, we got a few more comments I want to get to. Are we still good for time, John? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. That was a gentleman that left for China, and he wants back in the race. So that's pretty cool.
Hey, they come
He's been
from all
gone for a
over.
couple of years now.
Hey,
Yeah.
you listen. When you've been to the best, you never forget, John. I promise you that, eh? You never forget. David Tracy from Ohio. David, the team you were going to send to the Feathers Elite Masters, I want that team to go to this here, right here, David. I'm holding you on this one. David Tracy says, has John had any problems getting vaccine? I've called around and several companies are saying they're having problems getting vaccine shipped in. John, what's your thought on this? And we've talked about it.
Yeah, well, we already knew. I already knew back in October that the vaccines were going to run shy. Um, so myself, I mean, that's for an OLR. That's what I do. I mean, I buy a few, 3,000 ahead of time. Um, you could try Seagulls, and I believe even the Hoosier. I think he's got some that he's selling, and then there's also I think Tim Perry.
Okay. Well, check it out. He said Tim Perry. Tim Perry's from the what, AGN?
He's from the AGN. Yes.
Yeah, and you've got Jim Ward that is now running Vitaking and Seagulls. I don't know about Foy's. I don't know. We used to sell vaccine myself, but we're in Canada, so we don't do that anymore. Michael Peevler, he says, has the local news ever come out and did a story on your race, John?
Years ago, we had a local newspaper doing back in '02, '03, before OLRs were getting big. And it's interesting because I made the comment that, uh, here in the States, we fly for thousands, but yet in China, they fly for millions. And, that was put out there, and people, of course, like intrigued, like, whoa, this is going on in pigeon racing. But the news, no. I try to keep a low profile. This is
He
this
keeps
already this already is news for me.
Yeah, you're making a lot of news. No, but for people wondering, in China, there's 2 million flyers, so everything is I call it a pigeon steroid, and they're only in China. They're only interested in young bird racing, so it's gambling. It's different than here in America. Leonard Washington says, "Great to know. John. Sounds like a great straight up pigeon man. And that's why we have him on. Hey guys, you want to go to a race? I say it that you know the chef. You know the, you know those small restaurants? You go in and you've been going there for 10 years, you know the waitress, she had a baby, and you know the chef, and you know the owners. This is what we want to bring to you. We want you to feel comfortable. And I've always felt comfortable with John right from the first time I met him. And this is what I want to bring. And I never forgot that. Just like the guy from China called you and said, I'm coming back.
Yeah,
This is
that's
why.
pretty cool.
Pretty cool, John. So this week in your just a quick question. In the Royal Cup, how many birds you've got on so far?
I think I'm just right over 300 right now in the Royal Cup.
Okay. And California Classic?
I think it's going to be like 650, 675, somewhere around there.
Okay. And birds are now starting to go out. Now, do birds go out in both lofts? They're starting to go out?
The Royal Cup's only been out once. California's been, they were just out again this morning. But yes, they'll start going out, once, twice a week per group and rotating. And yeah, I don't really want the birds to, you know, I just want them to be really comfortable with the property. That's all I'm looking for. I'm just looking for them to be, uh, yeah, just a trust. It's basically built in trust that they respond, they go in, they trap, and that's all we want right now. Nothing, no serious flying, none of that stuff.
Okay, and for people that do wonder when, okay, so you know how there's pigeon guys, you know the first week they sent their birds and they're itchy, they're going, oh, okay, when do I get an inventory? When's that first inventory? For people wondering, just to I guess sprinkle a little water on the fire, when can people expect to see a inventory of the birds currently in the loft?
In another week or two, then we'll start doing full on because birds are going in and out. But you know, the gist of it is it'll be a couple weeks, and then we know really what we got with the for the earlier ones that have been settled. The younger ones, like again, it's a process. It's just you have to be so careful with these young pigeons. It's not just that it's not just the loft flies. It's keeping them healthy. It's it's all about being It's ironic because on my end I have to be patient, but then the breeders need to be patient as well because things change every day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think people are very not patient, and I think they need to be, especially here at the beginning. It's a very crucial time, these birds coming in. You don't want to rush them, you don't want to push them. And guys, you got to say, I think maybe this time of the season you're busiest, sort of. Is it, would you say this is the most stressful part of the one loft season for you?
Well, absolutely, because you do this whole process of intake and picking birds up, and you just want to make sure that they stay healthy, and you want to make sure that they understand what's expected of them in the beginning stages of being let out and calling them back in, and and then getting up in the air on their own, and knowing how to home back. It's they're just babies still, so it's a full on it's a process. These pitches, you get them too strong and they're feeling too good, real easy for them to catch the wind and drift away. And then you did everything for nothing. Or it's so simple that, you don't pay attention to the droppings and you get a bug in the loft, and next thing you know, you have a problem. And that's, you don't want that either.
No, it's just a matter of taking your time and being patient. And breeders, they need to understand that. And every race is different. I know I see that there's lofts. They're doing inventories and inventories. Guys, every loft does it their own way. So just be patient. And you can't compare one guy to another. You take your time and see what you like. Um, but it's a lot of work. Mike Green says, what? He's asking John, what are your thoughts on vaccinating your young birds before you ship to OLRs?
Oh, I'm in favor. I'm okay, but make sure you do it at least 3 weeks. They recommend 10 days for a booster, but I think with the stress level or if you happen to have a different vaccine, it doesn't. Then it works against you. So uh, if you're going to vaccinate early enough and give the birds enough time to more or less build that immunity before you send them.
And
You do.
before you load them with stress.
Correct. You don't want to. You don't want to. I mean, I've had it where guys, when'd you vaccinate? Well, 3 days ago. Well, that's no good. You know, it's a process because then I'm going to get the bird, and if I know that, then I'll let the bird sit to the side, and we're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah, and you're talking vaccine. Pox is okay too. You're not against pox?
I'm not against pox. No,
No.
no,
Now, do
I'm
you
not
think?
because I pox early. I mean, I shoot them. I do everything way early just because if the birds go downhill, it happens now. It doesn't happen 3 months from now when, I don't want to do that. I don't
Okay,
want, it's not worth opening a window to where, because pigeons that, there's a certain percentage of pigeons that cannot handle the pox vaccine. Happens all the time, or used to happen all the time. And, the less stress, the stressful things that can happen in the beginning when they're young, it's a lot easier on the bird, not when they get older, and especially when they start molting or when the climate changes to heat.
so. With the California Classic and the World Cup, will you pox them all as well?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so you're poxing them all as well. And do like you were just saying, you find some birds take the vaccine better than others?
Majority of them will do. Well, 99% will do good, but there's always a percent, 1-2% that that won't be able to handle. Like I said, either the breeder came too close with his own vaccination, and that becomes a problem.
Okay. My friend here, Mike Green, he did very good in our one Loft race. He says, I'm going to make sure to give them 3 weeks before shipping. So Mike Green is going to be participating with you, John. Great show tonight. We've been on an hour and 22 minutes. One Loft Wednesdays with John Timmerman. You see, take a look at the work going on. Uh, Again, you're seeing it here firsthand. We're breaking it down what John does, and what's so great even about that room is the great ventilation. Look at the air up top. Birds can breathe. Birds can see. Again, not too bright either. They're not cooking in the heat, but what a great setup. And all the birds, they don't shit on each other. They got the trays. Do you clean the trays out when a group's done? How often do you clean those trays?
Twice a week,
Twice
prior
a
to
week.
the birth, prior to new pigeons coming, and then towards the end of the week we do it again, just to see before we actually chip the birds. We'll do a double take to make sure they're everything's fine. So
All right.
twice a week they get cleaned.
And David Tracy's asking, what's the youngest age I can vaccinate my birds? What do you think the youngest age is, John?
30 days, 25 days, 30 days
Right.
probably.
Okay. All right. Same with pox, or would you do the vaccine first, then the pox? What would you do?
You know, myself, I mean, I've never vaccinated young birds with the pox until I wait, a few days after that. But other guys have done it, especially coming out of Florida. Guys have sent, and that's kind of what gave me the idea of poxing back then. Before it used to be real critical. I'd wait till June, July, and now I don't wait. Now I just go. I go forward with it all.
When you hit them with pox, are you painting it or are you vaccinating it?
I use a diabetic needle and just give them a little bump, and I show a little bit of blood, and it takes.
Okay. Well, we're on the keel? No.
on the breast.
Oh, yeah, yeah, on the breast. Okay. So we'll have to get that to another day. Um, John, we've been on here almost an hour and a half. I know you've had a big day today. I can tell you've been working hard. I wanted to thank you for coming on. We're going to get guests on in the next coming weeks. But again, right now is a big time. It's intake time, and we want people to see what's going on. You're taking birds right up till June, correct?
Middle of June.
Middle of June. So, guys, you got lots of time. Uh, don't don't worry, don't panic. You got time. It's going to be a great race season. We're going to be following it from start to finish, like we're doing now. We're going to have John on here every Wednesday, so you guys have questions. Anything else, John, you want to say before we put this one in the books? Anything else?
No, man. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend. Have a great
Yeah.
weekend
Are
coming.
weekend coming? Are you are again picking up this weekend in Chino?
Oh yes, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Same place, same time, same breakfast.
In breakfast. What's your breakfast of choice?
I've been taking it easy. They have what they call a mini volcano, which is just a couple slices of bacon and a pancake and 2 eggs.
That doesn't sound like a mini volcano, but hey, it is what it is.
That's
Mike
why it's
Green
the
said,
mini volcano.
"Oh, come on, John, you're not eating a you're eating three mini volcanoes."
Nah.
Mike Green says, "I vaccinate and pox the same time, have had no problems with it." Okay. David Tracy says, "Thanks." Jeff Henderson from Australia says, "Very impressive setup. Can't wait to see it." Yes, you guys cannot wait to see it. And Jeff, you're gonna love the casino there. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be the casino guy, or well, we're still working on where everyone's gonna be staying for that tour. But John, great show tonight. Again, big thank you for showing us this. We're gonna put some more videos for you guys together for the Wednesday night show. So you see what John's doing. If you have questions, don't be shy. Just come on the show or send me a text or give John a call or an email. Your birds are all welcome. Great handling, first class service from start to finish. And you guys see the man in the blue sweater, the Pigeon Boss hoodie. He is
Pigeon
the
boss.
yeah. You're the conducctor, man. You're the
All
captain of
right.
the
Well,
ship.
hey, just want to say thank you, Ryan. It's all
I
good.
don't thank me. Thank
Bye, bud.
yourself. You're doing all the work. Guys, like, share, and subscribe. We will see you. We will see you next Wednesday. And John, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks for flying with us, guys. Bye
All
for
right, bud.
now.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.